Yes, children. So we understood about the two methods of settlement. One it is the permanent settlement and the one more it is Mahalwari settlement. So then now we are going to see about the Raitwari settlements. So the first point it is dominant in southern territories. So here it was a dominant in the southern territories, tried on a small scale by Alexander Reed. So finally what happened? They tried on a small scale by a Alexander Reed. Settlement made directly with cultivators, popularly called as a rights. Okay, the rights is the farmers. So finally you guys are understanding, no children, in Raitwari system what happened? This was dominant in the southern territories in the part of south. Okay, and tried on a small scale by Alexander Reed. Later, the settlement, that means the agreement they made directly with the cultivators. That means the cultivators, popularly known as rights. That means farmers. Rights means farmers. Okay. Yes. Yes. Way the system worked. So how it used to work? How this Raitwari system worked? See here. The Raitwari system finally implemented by Sir Thomas More. So introduced by whom? Implemented. This idea was implemented by Sir Thomas More. No traditional zamindars in the south. So in the South India, there was no, the traditional zamindars. That means the Rajas and the, the taluk heads was not there. So that is the reason there was no traditional zamindars in the south. Fields surveyed and assessed. So even in the Mahalwari system also what happened? They used to go to all the villages, they surveyed, they assessed everything. So same here also, the field, that means the land was surveyed and assessed. Mono felt officials should act as paternal figures and protect rights. So he thought that like a guides, like a like a parents, they have to, like a fathers, they have to support the agricultural people. They have to, this officials, who the company officials should act as a paternal figures, like a supporters, and protect the farmers. Okay, so you guys are understanding, no children, what's the difference between Raitwari system and the Mahalwari system? Okay, there they assessed, they surveyed, and they approximately they imposed that, the revenue, and that this people, the head of the village, used to collect that and pay it to the company. But here what happened, the Raitwari system, they had a direct settlement between the cultivators and the company. Okay, so that is the reason he thought that they should have a, the parental figures, like a paternal figures, we have to support them. See here. So hope you guys understood all these three types, right? So one it's about the permanent settlement, one it's about the Mahalwari system, and the one more it's about the Raitwari system. So the first thing, the permanent settlement, was through the zamindaris used to collect and pay to the company. Second one, it is about the Mahalwaris. So Mahalwaris, what happened? They surveyed everything and they fixed the revenue. The revenue may fluctuate or they may increase in the future. Every now and then they can improve, but the revenue will be collected by the village head. And the next system, it is Raitwari system. So here what happened? There will be no mediators or the middle person. So they had a contract or the settlement directly between the cultivators and the, this company. So they were, they assessed this, surveyed, and they fixed the revenue, and they were helping, or they were, the paternal figures to the, this writers. That means to the farmers, to support them to increase the growth or the yield. Okay, and later we are going to see about the failure of these systems. All these three systems are very much important, children, and how it has got failed, that we'll see today. Okay, see, all revenue systems failed. Why? Reasons: company fixed high rate of revenue. The first thing you have to remember, the farmers, the peasants were not able to pay the revenue because the revenue which was fixed by the company was very high. They were not able to meet that revenue or pay that revenue. And the second one, it is the company, the presumed that agriculture would flourish in a period of time. So it is not that much easy. Yes or no, children? In a short, time of period, it is not that much easy to increase the yield or double the yield. Yes or no? So, but here what happened? The East India Company thought, or they assumed, that agriculture would flourish or increase or this yield in a short period of time. That did not happen. That is the reason what happened. These systems were failure. Okay, you guys understood, right? One reason is the company fixed the high rate of revenue, and the one more, it is they assumed that the agriculture may flourish within a short period of the time of period of time, but that will not happen. And the next thing, peasants were unable to pay high land revenue. The peasants, the farmers, were unable to pay the high rent or high taxes, high revenue to the company, and peasants left their occupation and deserted the villages. So what they started to do? It's a huge pressure on them. So that's the reason they left their occupation as a farmers, and they left their occupation as a farmers, and they started to leave the villages, move out of the villages. Guys, there is a movie in Telugu, I think so, Saira Narsimha Reddy. So you can watch that movie, you will get some idea, children. So how the people or peasants were struggling a lot. So they have to compulsorily give it to the East India Company. So how those people used to torture them, how they used to trouble those people, the peasants. So that all the things you can watch in that movie, you'll get some idea, children. Okay, and they migrated to new towns. So what they'll be doing? So even though if they are doing agriculture, they were not able to pay the revenue. If they are not paying the revenue, there will be a huge, the very weird punishments from the company side. So that is the reason many people, they left their occupation and they started to leave the villages and they started to migrate. They started to move to the other new towns. Okay, and then yes, and the next we are going to see about agricultural exports and British intervention. So finally what happened? Agricultural exports. So as we have seen, this people, the main occupation, that was, the main idea was trade. So they were exporting the many things from India. So that is what we are going to see, the export and the British intervention. Okay. Yes. So here we can see, children, in the decades, how they were exporting, and later what happened. See the increasing in the export activities, the millions, and the the proprietors. So how they started to get the money and all amount of stocks they used to store, all those things. So how difficult for our Indian farmers, just imagine, children. Okay, see what are the exports to Europe. So what are the things they were exporting to Europe? Let's see. Jute from Bengal. So they were exporting, as I told you people, there was a huge demand for cotton, silk, jute, all those things. So jute from the Bengal, tea from Assam, sugarcane from Uttar Pradesh, and cotton from Gujarat, rice from Madras, wheat from Punjab. Okay, the British realized that the countryside could yield crops as well as revenue for the company. So in the countryside, not only they'll be growing the crops, even they can, as well as they can revenue or generate the revenue also in the countryside. Okay, so guys are understanding, right? So they will be growing the crops, along with that they can get the revenue from the farmers. So that is the reason they moved into countryside. Okay, see, other important crops, one it is opium, another one it is indigo. So indigo had a huge demand, the Indian indigo had a huge demand, children. See, indigo dyed paper they are showing. Yes, opium and indigo were the two important commercial crops that the company wanted to export to Europe. So these are all the two important crops this East India Company wanted to export that to Europe, because that time in Europe, in the 9th standard you will be studying about that, children. So that time only the Britain in Europe, European countries, the industries were growing. Industrialization was at the boom stage. So that time only it was growing a lot. So that is the reason they used to take all the things from here. They used to send there, export the things there, and then they used to finish the products. So this indigo and all they were using for the textile industry mainly. So they used to use there, they used to convert the cotton or silk, whatever it may be, into textiles, and they used to send back to India with the high prices. Okay, so that was a main the thing they were doing at that time. Indigo cultivation, so they started to give more and more importance for this kind of commercial crops. Okay, understanding, no, children? They gave much importance for the commercial crops. So indigo cultivation, a kalamkari print, a Morris cotton print, here we can see. And the dye made from indigo was used by the weavers in India as well as by the English cotton weavers in Britain. So that's what I told you, people. There is a place called Manchester. So there they used to produce the textiles and they used to send back, whatever the products they used to, all the raw materials they used to take from India. They used to convert those products, finished goods, and they used to send back to the this countries only, colonies. Whatever the the European colonies they had, those countries they used to send back with the high prices, children. So that is what is known as the Manchester goods. Most probably in your 9th standard you will get that chapter, Manchester goods and how the industrialization in Europe, all those things. Okay, hope you guys understood, no, children? So as I told you, people, there was a huge demand for indigo. Demand grew with industrial revolution in Europe. Yes, as I told you, people, the demand for this indigo increased a lot because of the industrialization, the industrial revolution which was happening in the Europe at that time. And indigo grew in tropics, the tropics of India, some parts of India, and produced a rich blue color used as a dye. So as I told you, people, the Indian products was the finest products in the world. So that is the reason they had a huge demand for that. And this indigo used to produce a rich blue color, and that will be used as a dye for the textile industries. Okay, hope you guys understood, no, children? In today's class, we understood about the 3 revenue settlements. Okay, one it is permanent settlement, and the one more it is Raito settlement, and then Mahalwari settlements. Okay, and then we have to understand the failure of that settlement, why it has failed. Okay, if any doubts, let me know, children. Hope you all are preparing your classworks. Okay, make your note, just write the same points which is there in the screen or in the PPT. Okay, that is more than enough for you, people. you can just re-glance the same concepts. Thank you all.